Hey guys, if you have a 1022, I know you have at least one of these. Came with it. And if you like to shoot as much as I do, you probably have one of these little 15 rounders, maybe a 25, and maybe one of these off-brand 25 rounders that you bought because you thought the Ruger ones were a little too expensive. But I'm sure people you've seen online about this new, I don't know if it's new, this GSG 110 round drum for the Ruger 1022, and there's a couple video reviews on there on YouTube. They're good videos, but there are particular troubleshooting issues I wanted to go over that I didn't see that I kind of figure out myself. So I want to give you a little brief review plus a little troubleshooting tips on how to best operate this, because when I bought it, it came with this in the clamshell packaging with no instructions. It just said GSG 110 run back for Ruger 1022, and that was it. So hope you enjoy the rest of it. We'll get started. I bought this GSG 110 round rotary drum on Gun Mag Warehouse on Black Friday for $49.99. I'm not sure that's regular price, but that's what I paid for it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take it apart and load it, which I think is kind of crucial. Well, obviously loading is crucial, but taking it apart, for me at least as an inexperienced loader, this is a little crucial to figuring out how it works and getting it right. So I'll show you how to take it apart. You're going to need a number 10 hex screw for these two screws right here. And then we'll take it apart, we'll go from there, and then I'll kind of show you everything else I figured out about it. All right, so once you get it taken apart, you're left with the head of the magazine here. You got two screws, obviously the drum, and then you have these dummy bullets here. These are some of the most important parts that kind of help make this drum rotary magazine work. So those particular bullets are going to align in these. There's like these little crevasses. You can see one right there. I'm sorry, it's a little dirty because I went and shot it outside last week, and so those particular bullets line up in there, and they kind of help keep it. And it basically just goes in a big circle, and then you know, as you load it up, you'll see all of the bullets going here. But getting when you shoot the magazine till it's empty, just the recoil of the gun and the way that the bullets are fed can kind of make these bullets kind of get all out of order. So sometimes I just found the easiest way to fix that is just take the head off, realign them, and then put it back together and then start loading it from there. And like I said, I'm using my phone, so I'm not gonna be able to show you how to do it. Basically, this one is the first one, and this is the first one. It has to go in first. So you put that in the little crevasse there, and then you just feed. You know, see how I'm saying pulling the little tabs here with my finger, and you just keep feeding it until they're all in there. And then once you have it all in there, you can hold it together with one hand, screw the head back on, and then you can start loading the bullets in there. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you what to do from there. All right, so I don't have all of them in there yet, but I just kind of want to show you. So now that I have some of those bullets in there, you can see how the bullets line up in there. And it's very imperative that you don't skip any spaces either, because obviously then you're going to have to, there's no real easy way to get the bullets out if you skip a space. I'm also trying to hold it in here too, but you can see like how the bullets, they kind of slide down this ramp into that little hole, and then, sorry, for lack of a better cameraman, you can see how they got the bullets in there. They have the equally spaced. It looks good. And you just got to hold this the whole time, and that's kind of like a pain in the ass. If you get too quick or you skip a spot, then it's kind of hard to fix it. And then obviously if you let them come out too, it's really easy. It's nice to have a knife there, so you can kind of set them in the top. If they don't feed perfectly, you kind of jam them in there with the knife a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this loaded and put back together, and then we'll actually start putting some bullets in there. All right, so now I got the top back on, and it's very imperative that whenever you are loading this magazine that you have to have a finger on these tabs on the back at all times. Otherwise, the bullets are going to get stuck or you're going to skip spaces. So you're going to be in a world of pain if you don't do that. So that's kind of one downside about this. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to get some of these herders loaded in here, and then I'll show you how it looks after that. So I actually ended up taking the top off again entirely. I think this is how I loaded it the first time I got it loaded up. And as you can see, if it's not like perfectly aligned, it kind of gets really stuck in there. So that's again where having the knife handy comes in really handy when loading this thing. And I'm not saying a lot of negative things out here. It's just really it's pain in the ass to load this when it's fully empty. I recommend that when you do finally get it fully loaded, don't entirely empty it. Keep, maybe 5, 10, maybe even 15 rounds in there. It just makes it way easier for you to reload versus drain the entire 110 rounds having to deal with the dummy loads again. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this fixed and load it up a little bit, and then we'll get back to you. All right, so I think I figured out my issue and maybe why I was having some issues reloading it too. It definitely helped taking the top off and getting those first couple rounds in there, especially with the dummy rounds. But once you put the top back on, as long as you keep the it full up to the lid, then you're never going to have any issues with spacing. As you can see, I have a load of these in here, and it looks and it's working out really well. And just what I mean by that is if when you pull these little tabs back and you create room in there, just go ahead and put another round in. The pressure from all the rounds will keep the spacing even in here, and so eventually you'll load it all the way up to 110 rounds. It is once you will go full circle, and you'll still have probably space for another, I don't know, 50 or so rounds. That's just a cool thing to have when you're like, shooting on there and you can see it cycling by. I've got video of me shooting it that you might have already seen by now. You can see in there with the round cycle. But I'm not gonna load it all the way up right now. I just wanted to show you some of the tips and tricks that I not only figured out during this video, but I've had with this. So like I said, I didn't really get any instructions with this when it came. I just came in the clamshell. So I'll go show you how it looks with the guns, and then I'll show you some shooting videos, and we'll go from there, and I'll give you my opinion on it. Another thing I wanted to add is this is 110 rounds. Obviously, this thing is a chore to load. Obviously, you don't want to do this at the range. You want to do this before you get to the range. However, if you're like me, I have one of these Lula 1022 magazine reloaders. It does not work on there. If you're smarter than me, you probably already knew, because if it says on the front, Ruger factory magazines only. You probably can't see that, but it says it on there. Ruger factory magazines only, so it'll fit, but it doesn't really work that well. So just a heads up. So here it is on the 1022. It is obviously is a beast of a thing. And here is way bigger than any of the other mags. So it is a lot of fun to use it. I said I have shot it. The only issue I've had it with so far is that it makes your barrel very hot because you're shooting so much. For those of you who have the Ruger Precision Rimfire as well, even though it advertises that it can take 1022 magazines, it technically is a 1022 magazine, I have only tried to fit it in there twice, and both times I had extreme difficulty removing it. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you maybe, I don't know, sanded down the sides a little bit on this if you were going to use it just for this. But I don't know about you, I wouldn't really want to shoot a 110 round drum out of a bolt action rifle. That would be a very miserable afternoon. But I just want to throw it out there because I have it, and I just wanted to try it and let everyone else know that it doesn't really work, or I couldn't get it to work. So now that I've kind of, you've seen the shooting videos at the range, and I've kind of talked about how I personally had some troubles loading it, and some of the issues loading it that I'm sure other people have had before me. I'm going to give you my final opinion on it. I think it's a great purchase. I got it for a good deal at Gun Mag Warehouse. Obviously, I just need to shoot a little bit more, get a little more used to it. I think it's great. It did have some feeding issues, but it's hard to tell if it was the magazine or just the ammo. I don't shoot particularly great 22. I shoot whatever is cheapest. So usually it's the Herders or the Federal Black they got on Black Friday for a killer deal, or just really whatever else anybody brings. And we're all really bringing not great ammo. So a lot of the times, if it's like you're getting like stovetops or stovetops, those are obviously on they could be on the ammo or the gun or the magazine, all combinations above. There are a couple double feeds, but again, a lot of it, if it's like, if the rifle didn't, eject the spent casing, is it the mag's fault? Is it the rifle's fault? It's kind of hard to say. So there are some issues with it. I think a lot of the issues are just predominantly 22 issues versus magazine issues. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because it does work well once you get it loaded. It works really well in the rifle. You can shoot for hours. When you shoot it, I feel like you're shooting for 10 minutes because the magazine just won't empty. And obviously, so it's a lot of fun. It's great for at the range. If you have any interest in getting one like a magazine this big, I highly recommend it. As long as the laws in your area allow for it. In some states they don't allow for magazines this big. However, for 22, it's a lot of fun. So it's great if you want to go out there and do some serious, varmint hunting or just like a fun day at the range, just shooting steel or shooting cans, bottles, whatever you want. I think it's great for that. So thanks for watching the videos. Hope to make more videos soon, and enjoy your day.